All right, good morning. It's Wednesday. Gold is just blasting to the upside. Interesting. We had a buy yesterday from here, and man, this guy has pushed so much since yesterday. 1,600 pips. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. All right, so let's remove all analysis. It's a new day. Hmm. We have to have a different look towards gold. Let's go on the daily time frame. Whoa, man, this daily is crazy. Crazy thing. I think we're headed to like 5,000 area. Whoa, 4 hours. 4 hours is bullish. They are all bullish. I mean, with no retracement, no possible retracement. 1 hour is bullish, no possible retracement. Even though we're having this what looks like a let me call it reduction in volume, right? Same thing is going on here now, but this candle is closing bullish in 2 minutes. So let's see the 15. Yeah. So let's wait and see how this candle will close, because now if you're waiting for a retracement, see what's going on here now, right? Somebody might wait for retracement and we get these candles behaving like this, and there's a push afterwards. You see, it will just do a little bit of ranging, then it will push, right? It will push, it will range, it will push, it will range, it will push, it will range, it will push. So if you're waiting for maybe a bigger retracement, we might not really get it, but we'll see what the market has in stock for us anyway. But what makes sense is for we to get a retracement. But if we don't, we'll see how the markets, start to react in this area here before we can get a continuation. That is the only possible thing now I can do on gold here. That's the only possible thing. Maybe if this candle closes and the next one should wake down, break these highs, then we can get a continuation to the upside. We'll have to wait for see if the volume would kick in here at that point. All right. Interesting price action on gold. Very interesting price action. This candle has now few seconds to close. Can we get a continuation with volume of the 6:30 a.m. candle? Because we are an hour ahead of London. We will see. Let me see the 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Um, I will need. I will need. I will need a bigger retracement here. I will need a bigger retracement. Buying it right now look very risky to me. I will need this candle to retrace a little bit further before I could think of anything. But anyway, if it's leaving that high too, maybe my one 400 pips. So ideally we need some sort of retracement. Let's look at GJ. GJ finally had a retracement from all the push it had from yesterday. Finally retraced, and we are now in this consolidation here. So if let's go on the daily time frame. On the daily, I don't like how this daily candle closed with a very long wick, but that's by the way. Let's see the 4 hours time frame. The 4 hours, we have a resistance. Oh, this is not what I'm looking for, please. We have formed a resistance right there. And we also have the most recent support on the 4 hours time frame. I would have put this support here. Yeah, that's where it makes 4 hours time frame. We'll still have this area here, but let's play with this one, because if this is the most recent resistance, if your candle is closing above it, maybe volume could, break above this particular one here. So let's see on the 1 hour time frame and then readjust our zones. On the 1 hour, we can now adjust this. Yeah. For GJ, I am not really looking for sales. I'm not looking for sales because we've been on this bullish trend since the new week. So maybe anything closing above this area here makes sense for we to continue to the upside. GJ, I basically just look at it these days. I don't execute. I mean, I've done one execution recently, and that was basically it. So now I just look at it. The only thing I want to do on GJ here today is just waiting for this area to be broken while I'm looking for gold. Yeah, gold needs to retrace. It needs retracement. At least I would expect gold to give me a retracement to this green line here. That's what makes sense for me. So let's go ahead and we'll draw our zones on gold. For the buys, we're waiting for something leaving this area for the cells. Maybe if we, yeah, yeah, for the cells, if we are closing below here, then we can get a retracement, a correction, actually. But looking for cells on gold is quite dangerous, trust me. It's quite very dangerous looking for cells on gold. So buys both. So if we get a closure below here, target for these cells could be at 4,850 area. That is my 8, yeah, 850 area. That is the target for the cells. For the buys, I believe a closure above this area here, then buys will make sense at that point. Above this area here. Target will be like, $5 push, 50 pips, 60 pips, and we'll see. But these sales will be more tricky because the trend is very bullish. The trend is very bullish. So basically, whenever you're taking a counter trend, you don't hold the trade for a very long time. It's basically when you jump in, get some pips, 30, 40, 50, then you exit. But for these buys, I think if we get a closure, a comfortable closure above here, then you can hold this trade because the sentiment is still towards 5,000 area for gold to push into for the rest of the week. So in this range now, we can call this no trade range. Yep. 4 minutes for this candle to close and is pushing with so much volume at this point. It's pushing with so much volume. We'll see. We'll have to wait for that candle to close no matter what. 15 minutes has about 4 minutes to close, 30 minutes is still open. But this is a very good retracement for the bias continuation or closure below here for we to get the correction of this Asian push. But we're gonna see. We will Let's look at Forex Factor and see what's going on. Trump on Lent, he'll go. Trump on Lent, he will go to acquire Greenland. You'll find out. Interesting. Gold breaks 4,800 profit taken ahead of US PCE. Trump argued Greenland would materially improve US missile defense capabilities. And he said, yeah, let's look at the calendar. This candle is just dropping. It's just dropping. You just have to look at it. Nothing to do. Today is Wednesday. We have the GBP CPI in few minutes, 8 a.m. In few hours, actually, not few minutes. By 8 a.m. Right? Yeah, few hours, few minutes. Sorry, in few minutes. The news is just 1 hour before London Open. That's basically it today. Man, Friday is going to be a very crazy day. Look at this. Friday is going to be a very crazy day. Look at all these red folders here on Friday. Friday is a day for you to be careful. Ten seconds for this candle to close, but now the way this candle is closing is very, very, very crazy. I don't like the fact that it is pushing so much, even though yeah, I was looking for a closer below here for me to get a correction at least to this area for the sales, but the way this candle has pushed, man, single candle that pushed 250 pips, it's crazy. What is the chances that the next candle will push another 50 pips? Is going to be very difficult at that point. It's going to be very difficult, and also the 30 minutes is still very much open at this point. So even if I was looking to take a sell, I am really very skeptical about the sales right now, because this 30 minutes candle can just push back into this range at this point. I would have preferred to see like some sort of ranging push, 2 or 3 candles before this closure here, but a single candle closing pushing 250 pips. This next one, I am not very sure of what it wants to do. Interested in these sales. Crazy thing, right? Man, this thing just dropped from the opening. This thing just dropped like a mad person. Almost 300 pips drop. Wow, crazy. Crazy, crazy. Crazy thing, right? Man, I just can't execute these cells here because it has pushed way too much in a single candle. I don't like it when a single candle just, dropped so heavily. And 15 minutes is a very lower time frame. 30 minutes is still open and I can't sell it. I can't sell it. At this point, the only thing to do here is just, waiting for a new support for it to continue to the upside because the trend is still bullish overall. So this is just a very good retracement for it to, you know, retest these highs. So if you ask me, I would say let's wait. Yeah, we are gonna wait. But if I want to be a cowboy, I would say as this 5 minutes candle has, touched this area here, having this rejection from this area, if the next 5 minutes starts to leave this region here, then you could take a buy for it to retest that high. But that is still like that's still looking so early. I mean, 1 hour has 10 minutes to close. I don't like taking trades based on the 5 minutes time frame because it's a very, very weak time frame. So the only thing I can say here is I'd wait for at least this 15 minutes candle to close in 9 minutes and then we'll see what we can do. But ideally, looking at this 5 minutes, it's really makes sense for the next candle to way too high. But yeah, it really makes sense. Trust me, it does. Because this candle now is now a rejection. It's now rejection. This will be the flip of 15 minutes candle, flipping bullish. Maybe you can keep your stop loss just very tight, nothing crazy. Maybe something like this. Then you target these highs. Now, managing this risk is going to be very, 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 very tight one because yeah, I think I'll try this buy here. Yeah, so I'll try this buy, and the reason is because this 15 minutes candle pushed 250 pips to the downside. So ideally, this next candle here needs to get a very, very, very comfortable retracement, at least this trade. But I'm going to manage this trade based on this 5 minutes time frame. So this 5 minutes, having broken this high, should not have any reason breaking its own wick here. It shouldn't have any reason to its wick here. So let's see. And I'm going to also be quick in breaking even on this trade. 20 pips. 20 pips. Yeah. I'm going to bring my stop loss now up to this opening point here. That's my stop loss. Nothing crazy. Okay. Back to 20 pips. I'm going to 14, 15 pips, 16. I'm just going to break even on this thing. Yeah, so my stop loss now is on break even. Yeah. Let's see how this thing pushes now. If it goes, good. If it doesn't, then it is what it is. because I'm expecting this 15 minutes candle to have a very, very big retracement, because if we pushed down 250 pips, broke this low before flipping bullish, then that could be the 30 minutes going back to the upside. Because ideally, we need this thing to, you know what? You know what? Let me close half of this trade here. Yeah, I, I closed half of this trade here. So now I'm running on break even right now. If it takes me out, good. Oh, okay. Break even. That is it. Interesting. Very interesting. So that was a break even. At least I got something out of it. It's, it's cool. It's okay. There's going to be a lot of waiting now. Man, this one dropped to this target that we had for the sales. Interesting. Interesting drop. Let's see, man. There's going to be a lot of waiting now. This thing just dropped to the target there. For the sales.
I'm Mr. Honest.
Good morning.
Money. You just took a trade.
Yeah, but it was a break even for me. I took a buy. I took a buy because this candle here, the way it was pushing initially when it opened, it's made a top wick, broke this low, moved down to like this area. Then, as it was flipping bullish, so I took a buy, thinking, okay, that could be a retracement of this 250 pip candle push here. So this was the idea I took based on the 5 minutes time frame. See, you see where it got to initially and rejected from here. So as this candle was breaking these highs, I was thinking, okay, that could be the correction. I took the buy. It's pushed like 34 pips. I just broke even and it came back and hit my break even. Though I closed 50% at 30 pips because I took this trade based on the 5 minute time frame. So I didn't want to take this sell, even though that it made sense because I was looking for sells below this area here. So as this candle closed bearish, I was like, if I take this sell at the break of this low, we have this rejection here. And why did we reject here? So, but it worked out. It put about 160 pips. It is what it is. I was looking to do something like this. I was looking to do something like this, but it was already from this candle. What is the chances that this candle will also drop under 100 pips? So I was very skeptical. You know that this sales is going to be a counter trend. What ideally makes sense is for we to have this retracement, create a new support for we to retest these highs. That is what makes sense, which is not what I'm going to wait for here. If we form a support at this area, then we could get our buys to the upside, because now we are forming a very, very good clean candles here now. You see, this is a very clean candle. So if we're pushing up also, we're going to have easy push to the upside if we create support somewhere around these areas here. So it's going to be a very long wait, right? A very, very long wait. 30 minutes just opened and man, crazy. 1 hour is breaking this low now. Now I don't know if we might get, some further push to the downside or not, but we can't sell it here. We cannot sell it here, never. Instead of me to sell gold there, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to buy chicken and I will go to sell to my neighbors. So if it keeps dropping, fine, let it keep dropping. There is absolutely nothing we can do. But if we create a support somewhere here in 30 minutes time frame, then only then can we retest the highs. That doesn't make sense to me. GJ is still stuck here. Nothing happening on GJ. I was looking for it to have a closure above here. I'm not looking for sales on GJ. I mean, the trend is still very bullish. For gold, nothing to do, just wait. Just waiting. Maybe we want to gold wants to, get back to like 8,020 area. 8,820 area. Don't know. Just see. Let's see. But if we're creating support here, that is a bias I am looking for, because you see, the bias is going to be very, very sweet one. It's going to be about 500 pips. At least we could get 100 pips out of it. It pays to wait, trust me. It really pays to wait. It pays to wait. So we're gonna see. If I had gotten down sales, it would have been so nice, man. On these 5 minutes, because this was the area I was looking for sales from. But I was like,
Mhm.
why did we reject here? This rejection here was the only reason why I didn't take these sales. Man, it would have been good at that point. This would have been so nice. This would have been so nice, man. I was looking at it. I was like, um, and coupled to the fact that I took a buy as this candle wicked down, rejected, closed like a little bodied candle, and the next one broke the highs. I was like, okay, this could be a correction to the upside, and I took the buys. It stopped me out on break even. I was like, okay, should I just jump in into a next trade almost instantly? It doesn't make any sense to me. That was why I just looked at it. And the one I looked at is the one that played out just the way I expected it to from the beginning of the stream. We'll see. We will see. Producer price inflation UK December 2025, including statistics October to whatsoever it is. These days we're now looking at the news every single minute. Greenland should prepare for everything Prime Minister says. Okay. So we're looking at the news every single minute this period, because one person might come and say something and the market is going crazy over it. And at that point, you'll be caught in the middle, which you wouldn't want to be at.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be caught in the middle. So, ideally, we could readjust our zones now. The cells below here is no longer valid. We could remove these zones now and have a fresh. What is wrong with you, bro? Get the fuck out of my face. Yeah. Looking at this point is waiting for a support to be created here. Let's see. What am I typing? Man, my keyboard is typing something else. Wait for support.
Sorry.
Let's wait for support for buys because that's what makes sense at this point. I honestly don't think we're going to break this 4,800 area. I don't think so. So I think waiting for that support is better because if we form support, then we have a very clean range here to the left hand side. Choma, do you remember when you trade GU?
No, I didn't meet you when you straight you.
GBP? Something is on my keyboard today. GBP USD. Oh yeah, has almost similar move to GJ. Almost similar move here. You know, return pound is the same. If I get a very comfortable entry today on gold, I think I'm going to hold a portion of my buys for the rest of the week. As long as we don't go. Well, let's see. Oh man. YouTube is having like 10 seconds latency. 10 or 5, I don't know. Maybe 5 to 10 seconds. 5 to 10 seconds latency. Man, look at this. This is the biggest retracement since this week. From this opening point, the way it has formed, this is currently the biggest retracement we've gotten this week. All right, give me a second. I'll be back. Oh man. If video can close above here, then it is likely to push 10 pips to that area. But I don't just want to look at GU. I mean, I think it's a waste of time. It's a total
Mm.
waste of time.